No. Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at? It's opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion Messi is better than me, but in my mind I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month. I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy Carhartt cards and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up.
Don't unplug anything. Yep. Let's go. Clap hands there. Sinker. Professional, see? Add it in because it could be a
t-shirt in the way.
Yes, indeed.
Did you wear yours?
I know. You had to do that, didn't you?
I brought mine.
What is Podcast Nation. You can do it now for Rhodri Giggs and Rhodri Giggs on Football Friday 7:30.
I'll just start it.
It's happening. Hey guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of Rhodri Giggs on football. This is episode number 23. Can we hear Rhodri Giggs?
Boom!
We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Ace Podcast Nation, your home to many a great shows, and by the way, an absolute banger of an intro to this show. I wish one day we'll get a camera on me and Rhodri as that intro's playing.
I'm live on Facebook. I'm live on Facebook as well. Put my Facebook on.
Ah, see, proper. So, little Super 6 update straight away. Check out the Sports Social Podcast Network if you'd like your podcast in audio platform. But as the Super 6 goes, we've had a couple of rounds since our last update. Mike Pengelly topped the round last week with a cracking 18-point score. City legend Andy Legg came a close second. The previous round, me and Rhodri were battling it out for top spot. Rhodri pipped me by 1 point. He's been copying my scores.
Did I get 18?
I'm not sure, mate.
I think I got 18.
Not according to this. The week before, you got 18. So, yeah, you had 18 and I had 17. But I've still got a 26-point unassailable lead, may I add. After these two rounds, Gareth Price still top of the overall league. And remember, the next round is Saturday at 3 o'clock, supporting two fantastic charities. I am, as ever, joined by the man himself, Mr. Rhodri Giggs. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been all over the show today. Got up this morning, did the school run, got in my car, drove to London, got stuck in a traffic jam, so I had to come off, stop at Milton Keynes, get the train from Milton Keynes to London, do what I had to do in London, and get the train back, get in my car, and come back, and here we are.
Indeed. No, mate, I appreciate you being able to do it. Like, you know, it's a little bit late, but it's...
That's all right. I was going to go home, but I thought, you know what, I might as well just do it here. Just come straight here.
Why not, mate? That's the point. I was in the studio earlier today as well. Busy.
Yeah.
But standard, mate, go to London, get caught in a traffic jam, innit?
I was flying as well. As soon as I got on the M1, and then it come on the Talk Sport, overturn Laurie on near Daventry M1. I was like, for fuck's sake. And I was just sat there for 2 hours. Just didn't move for 2 hours.
Oh, mate, it's infuriating. Doesn't it drive you nuts?
I know.
Have you ever been in...
It's the first time I've been on the M1 for about 15 years. I used to do it all the time when I was going to London, but now I always go on the M40. I never go on the M1.
You know, so, like, you know my geography shit, innit? So, would the M1 take me, like, past Kent? So, when I was driving to the Mighty Boosh festivals, when I had my my crash in my car, which fucked my back up, that was, I'm not sure, I think it was the M1, like, takes you past Kent. But I don't know, mate, because my geography...
I think that was M40, that.
Is it? Right.
M1 goes from Leeds to London.
Oh, that's good. No, I probably wouldn't be there. M40 sounds familiar. Shit road. I've never been on it since. Mate, it's been an absolutely insane few weeks in the world of football, mate. And unfortunately, it seems to be like off the field stuff. But I'm going to ask you a question, mate. I want your honest answer, as ever. What the fuck's wrong with Kurt Zouma? Seriously, like, what? What's going on with these dicks?
What is wrong with his brother posting it?
Oh, mate, do you know what, right? Right, take out the fact of what he's done, okay? Because that was a proper prickish thing to do anyway. It's horrible. But, like, what I don't get is why, unless his brother secretly hates him, like, why would you post that? Why would you share it or so? Like, mate, like, it's just a horrible thing to do. I just don't understand it at all. Done in front of his kids as well, which is a bit worrying. But for anyone who's been under a rock and don't know, Kurt Zouma's brother posted a video to social media of Kurt Zouma. He volleyed his cat across the kitchen, and I think he like punched it or something as well, like out of his kid's hand or something like that. It's horrible. I've watched the kick. I haven't watched the other bit. I didn't like it, I gotta be honest. But they've had that. The RSPCA's got involved in taking the cat away from him. But like, apparently this, I sort of read something about the French authorities. Like if it had happened in France, he'd go to jail, and they're obviously not happy because he's done that. But I don't know what they can do because it's in the UK, I think, wasn't it? But what was David Moyes thinking playing him, mate?
Well, he's at home, so that helps.
You got booed by his own fans.
If he was away from home, I don't think he would have played him. Because he was at home, his own fans think that's why he probably played him. David Moyes has just basically gone, I'll give a shit. He's my best player, I'm going to pick him. It's nothing to do with football.
Yeah. Well, he did. I think it backfired a bit because he got...
Technically, he's got a point. But, yeah, it sends out a bad message. But, yeah, but then again, today we go on, is it worse than racism?
Yeah, that was my next point. Michael Antonio has kind of come out and said, obviously, like, it's a bad thing or whatever, but like he said, is it worse than racism? And we do not have this much fuss over when there's been certain incidents over the years with regards to players being racially abused, whether it's by other players or whether it's by fans or whatever it may be. There wasn't this much of a furore, if you like, when that fan come on the pitch on the weekend and punched the Leicester player. So, look, and I'm not like underplaying it. Like it's a horrible thing. It wasn't very nice to watch, and I don't really know what the hell he was thinking. But equally, where's the outrage for the other, like the racism?
Football's getting a bad rap at the minute, all over the show. And I was listening to Talk Sport as I was driving down today, and they were talking about, the behaviour of the certain fans who are going there and, just causing havoc. And some clubs who can't afford the policing, it's just causing havoc, and so it's a problem. Like you say, you've got a fan running on and punching a player, and you hadn't even heard of it. He punched him twice.
Yeah.
So
I tell you what, two things, mate. Right?
Just let me finish, mate. You know what it's like. We're like, especially over the last 2 or 3 years, where people have been locked in, stuck with the pets or bought pets like I have, and they've got the part of your family, and to treat your family like that, it's just
it's sickening, mate.
He's just a bully. It was like the way they were chasing it, and it's like nah. He needs a good 2 foot in the head, good volley. See how he likes it. It's just
fucking right, mate.
it's not nice. It's not nice.
I've seen
but it's what I'll say. Is it worse than racism? Is it? So what is it? Is it? Yeah, is it?
No, it's not.
Exactly. So it's an animal at the end of the day, but so you treat animals better than black people. So this is the kind of people are flipping it, like Antonio today, and the reporter couldn't even answer him. Started divering.
Well, it's because they're useless, aren't they? The bloody reporter.
But doesn't taste their agenda, does it?
No, and I think there's the thing at the moment, generally around the world, not just in football, in everything, of that cancel culture type thing, where people are looking for stuff to pull celebrities up and people up, whether it's people saying things they shouldn't in a shop, like a Karen in a shop, or it's Jimmy Carr's jokes, or it's whatever it may be. People are looking. Joe Rogan. There's people everywhere. The media, people, they're looking for stuff to be offended by and be, and pull people up on and causing problems. However, sometimes people need to be pulled up on stuff. And Kurt Zouma, I don't know what. Do you know what, you hit the nail on the head when you said it was like the way they were chasing the cat around. It was like bullying, and it was horrible, mate. Yeah. And I just think
scaring the life out of it.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And you're right. Like cats, dogs, they're part of the family, mate. And I don't like it at all. And I think so. Craig just said there. That's what I was trying to say, but I couldn't remember it, so I didn't want to get it wrong. But he can be prosecuted in France as well. They brought in laws to stop people doing animal cruelty abroad. So it stops people going to Africa or other countries to do like big game hunting. So even though it happened in the UK, he can still be prosecuted in France because he's a French national. So it'd be interesting, obviously, to see how that progresses. On the Leicester City thing and the fan which come on a pitch and attacked him, there's two things I want to say about that. One, like literally, it was basically just in the match report. That was all I really read about it, other than like one article on BBC Online. So there's been nothing really said about it. I get he was arrested and all that. Well, he could have had a knife or something, and it could have been a whole lot worse. Clubs, security, stewards, whatever, they got to do better than that. And second of all, he's very lucky that those players didn't just all jump on him and kick crap out of him, to be quite frank.
Yeah, and rightly so.
Yeah,
he's on their place of work, so
idiotic,
rightly so. But they've had a good swipe at him and given him he's ripped a bit of his clothes. But yeah, it's worrying that. So if he could have had anything in his hand, anything.
Yeah.
What these kids and these mums are going, they're all drugged up, drinking. Been out on these all day benders with it's just crazy. It's crazy. When I was younger, it's crazy. Just actually ringing people, right, where are we going to meet? So they can have a fight. But the worrying thing, it's not like 19, it's 40, 50-year-olds.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
There's young lads there, but most of them are grown, eh?
What was I don't get really what that guy was thinking, at all. I just don't understand.
Idiot. And they've gone to the town. They've gone to meet them at a certain bar. They're not at that bar, so they've started smashing it up with just normal people in there eating.
Just having their lunch.
So they just started smashing it up, and the people are like, "What's going on?" You've not seen the video?
I haven't. No, I haven't seen that video, but it don't surprise me.
Yeah, there's a video because they've obviously organised to meet, but the Leicester fans have not got there yet, and or vice versa, and they've got there and smashed the flipping, throwing things through the windows and everything.
Jesus. So right, let's kind of separate the all the incidents. So the Kurt Zouma one, look, he could end up getting prosecuted by the sounds of it in France and the UK. Rightly so. Piece of shit, deserves everything he gets. If you're David Moyes, after the outcry, because he got criticised from all angles, his own fans booed him, booed Zouma when he started. So, like, it's clear David Moyes probably shouldn't have started him. Sponsors have pulled out, all this sort of stuff. Do you think that in this on Saturday's game, is Kurt Zouma going to be in that squad, do you think, again?
Yeah.
You think he'll play him again, even though he got widely criticised the way he did, and they lost sponsors?
Yeah.
He's got a decision to make, haven't he? Because he either backs down and drops him, or he
plays him until someone else bans him. Because you ban him, and when he's not banned, and then he gets a ban in, he can't play for 5 games. Oh, I should have played him. To the ban. That's their moral compass. That's how they want to deal with it. They've already played him once, so you got over the worst bit, but you still got to go away from home. So it's lots of way up.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like, he's lost his Adidas sponsorship, and he's obviously feeling the ramifications of that. It's going to be one of them, I'm afraid. It's I just can't believe it, mate. To be honest, I was really shocked by it. I couldn't believe it. That Leicester fan, he's going to do a couple of months in prison.
He could, he'd have to get prison in.
Oh, 100%. You get. I was watching a thing the other day which said that as soon as you go over the white line, they can basically, like, as soon as you go onto the pitch, they can put you on. They can put you in prison, if they choose to. And obviously, the fact that he assaulted one of the players, he's got no chance of avoiding prison. He probably, he'll do 6 months or something, depending on what his record is. But it's just ludicrous, mate. Honestly, ridiculous. So we're doing a slightly short show, mate, today. So I want to going to fly around a little bit, a bit more than usual. A few people saying he's not. They've said that Kurt Zouma's not going to be playing. But you know what? Do you know what pisses me off about that? Right? Is the only reason Kurt Zouma's not playing, if he doesn't, is because they've lost money, a few sponsors, not because they're like taking him out of it because of what he did.
I'm sorry. Are you surprised by that?
No, of course I'm not. But it's the same old shit in it with football clubs. It's all about the bottom line.
The owners are in the porn industry. They've got a moral, compass of a rattlesnake.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very, very true. Mate, FA Cup. We'll start with United and Middlesbrough. That was Friday. United are out. Tell me about it.
Another game where it should be over at half time, and we're actually not killing teams off, and you don't kill teams off, and this is what happens. But it's just Norwich, Newcastle, West Ham, and now Burnley. It's just, it's not good. It's not good. Like, we played really well in the first half, but you have to put these chances away. You have to. Because another thing, Ian talks about, 76 chances in 3 games. And they've had 3 shots on target out of them 76. So that's basically 1 shot. One shot on target every 24.
It's mad that is. It's a lot. That's not good enough, is it, for a top Premier League team? Especially when you consider the forwards they've got. Like, when we talked at the start of the season, and when we've been talking throughout the season, generally the forward line is not what is worried about, is it? It's like holding midfielder,
you have to get more, because the defence is not good enough to keep a clean sheet. So you have to get more. Yeah. And you're getting the chances, you're just not putting them away. Just think sometime it's going to click and they're just going to go on a run, because you can't keep on getting these shots, chances, and just not scoring them. So I think they just keep working and keep plugging away and keep working. You just got to work and fight through it. It's the only way you can do. You can't moan and whinge on hands up in the air and point fingers. You stick together and you've got to work through it, because it's tough times. Tough times at the minute. I
mean, one positive I'd say from the Burnley game particularly is first half. I thought that was probably the best I've seen United play this year. I thought they were pretty good. They created a load of chances.
As well, though, the first half, they played well.
Oh, the Middlesbrough, mate. Handball. Like, tell me how that. I don't understand why that's a goal. Like, I get the rule change. I understand that. But
it's
like,
not.
if
It's not. It's handball.
yeah, if he doesn't control it with his hand,
he
doesn't score. They don't score.
Big red flag. Watmore is like an Altrincham legend.
Right, okay.
The referee is an Altrincham fan.
Ah, I see. Right, it's one of them. But like, for me,
It doesn't help, does it? It doesn't help when it's blatant like that. And then you look 4 months earlier, and Luke Shaw, it's identical, but it's given a penalty. It's identical. But it's a penalty. So why is it a penalty, but then it's not?
Yeah,
a penalty on the other way.
Lack of consistency all the time, mate, isn't it? And it's so frustrating. But like,
if that ball doesn't hit his hand, they don't score because the defender gets back in. It just doesn't happen because the ball's set up. It just wouldn't happen.
Well, he got the ball under control with his arm, and didn't he? And my thing, I saw loads of fucking idiots on Twitter. Oh, the rules say this, the rules say that. I don't care what the rules say because it was handball, and if he doesn't handball it, he doesn't control it, and he
should
doesn't
change
score.
it shouldn't be called handball, and it should be called it should be called something else. Because handball is not handball anymore.
No, it's not.
That's blatant handball. Blatant. It's just not even worth talking about it. It's done now.
Not for the first time, but United goalkeeper did not get anywhere near any of the penalties in the penalty shootout. Is that down to quality penalties from Middlesbrough, or is it like an issue? Because it's not. I can't remember when, but in the last year or so, I watched the penalty shootout with United, and the keeper didn't get near one.
Yeah, no. 151 years the FA Cup's been going, and we've never won.
Penalty shootout? Is that right?
Never. Yeah.
Jesus. So you were confident going into that then when the penalty started?
We've only had 3 in them 151 years, but we've never won one.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? I think, and Craig makes a good point there, where I said about the sponsors and now they've pulled Zouma, like David Goodwillie, wasn't it? They backed the fact that they signed him, and then as soon as all the sponsors and everyone kind of pulled out and the money went, they backed out of the signing.
It's always been the same. Money talks.
It's a shame, mate. One day, one of these football clubs will take up like a proper stand against the kind of bad behaviour and off the field stuff.
It's unfortunate, isn't it? But it's his own stupidity for his brother putting it out on social media. But imagine what he's like when the cameras are not on.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, mate. Mate, if you can treat a cat who's like a member of your family like that, like what are you doing to other members of your family? And I just don't get it at all. Like I don't understand
the bully aspect, the way they're chasing it and cornering it. And that.
Yeah. And if the parents are doing, or the father's doing that, or whatever, what's the kids doing when the parents are not around to that cat? Fucking bang out of order, mate. Didn't like it. I will say I thought Middlesbrough were excellent for a championship side who made a few changes. I thought they did really well to stay in touch with United, and they play. They could have pinched it a couple of times. Sol Bamba, mate, when he stepped up for that penalty, I really wanted him to score after everything he's been through in the last couple of years. Obviously, he's got a Cardiff link as well. You could see the emotion on his face after he took a penalty, but it was him and another former Cardiff player, Lee Peltier. Their penalties were unstoppable, mate.
Yeah, all the penalties were good except for obviously Alanga, who
I felt sorry for him, mate. I felt really sorry for him.
It's all learning process, mate. It's all learning process. I remember Ryan, when he was 17, 18, missed a penalty to knock United out against Southampton in the Stretford end. He was only about 17, 18. But you got to learn from it. You learn from it, and yeah.
I read that he was quite upset, like afterwards, and the next day he was really down in the dumps.
He'll be upset. He'll be upset in 15 years' time. I missed one penalty in my career, and it pisses me off to this day still. And it was over 25 years ago. Literally, if I think about it, it fucking pisses me off.
Mm.
But, that's what made me not miss anymore.
Yeah, you got to have the mental side of it, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know, on the subject of VAR, in the Cardiff Liverpool game, mate, I was screaming at my TV. Cardiff didn't get a penalty. The keeper should have been sent off for an awful tackle. And you're just thinking, what's the point in having a video assistant ref, because they don't do anything, and when they do something, they get it wrong half the time.
Put a good fight, and obviously took that on to yesterday and got a good result yesterday, and it's looking even better now.
Would you know why?
Swansea struggling, Reading are struggling, Peterborough are struggling. So Swansea needs to watch out as well, because they could be caught.
Yeah, they could be dragged into it, mate. Hopefully. Like I said last week, one thing Cardiff have done in the last month is they had a really good window. They needed bodies, but they needed certain bodies to make the team better, and they brought in the right players or the right positions. And those players have made a massive difference to the way the club's playing. Steve Morrison's obviously settling into the job. I thought they did very well against Liverpool, but then it's easy in some ways to do that because you're not expected to do anything. So I was interested to see how they do against Peterborough. That was a massive game next to each other in the table, and Cardiff just absolutely destroyed them 4-0. And I mean, could have been more, but the player who really stood out for me actually was the boy from Leeds. Oh, what's his name? Someone will tell me now. Cody Drama. He only 20, and he's just been outstanding since he's come into the football club. But and they're the sort of those young players, mate. They're the ones who we're depending on. But
the kid from City looks like he started well.
Doing a job, mate. And I think that's what it comes down to. And you've got a bit of experience like Jordan Hugill, and Joe Rawls. The fact that Joe Rawls is out of contract soon and Cardiff haven't tied him down is worrying. With the financial problems as they are, I am concerned by that. So I'm hoping that they tie him down to something for a couple of years, because he is the glue that holds the football team together at the moment. And the table actually makes, compared to probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, the table makes for good reading for Cardiff, really. They're 12 points clear of Peterborough, who were in the 22nd.
Yeah, they've had a good week.
I want to talk about Wayne Rooney again. We won't spend too much time on it because we spent most of the show last week talking about him. But Derby again, absolutely superb. But he did an interview. He's doing like I think it's an Amazon show, him and his missus.
It was last night.
I haven't watched it yet. I will watch it. But the FA has announced they contacted him over comments he made about John Terry, because it was when United and Chelsea were, vying for the title. They did not like each other. And he said he was so wound up and angry that he changed his studs that he wore all over his career. It was the only time he ever changed them from those old plastic ones to long metal ones. And then John Terry had his foot broken in that game, I think.
Yeah. No, I don't think he broke his foot because John Terry carried on.
Well, he left the stadium on crutches, it says. So
I don't know.
Okay. He was left with a hole in his foot.
Because John Terry's replied to it on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw that.
He didn't come off though.
No. What do you think of the FA getting involved? I just think
busybodies. So sort your own affairs out, because you see the game's in tatters in a minute, but the rules and changes and all the referees and all that's going on. So just stay in your lane, because what can they do? Nothing. They can't do anything. All he did is change to metal studs. They were legal studs. They're just metal.
Well, I think it's the thing that he went out to hurt someone, and he said I wanted to try and hurt someone, and I think that's probably the bit they're on about. But
he could spin that a different way though. They say, okay, we'll explain yourself, and he can have a solicitor or someone say, well, okay, there's an excuse to why he said that, and explain it. There's no way they're banned. There's no way they're doing anything to him. If they do, it's a joke.
But then Craig says he makes a good point. When Roy Keane's book come out and he had all those revelations, and I think he said some more about the Haaland stuff. Like he got, I think he got fined or he got in trouble. So Roy Keane was banned and fined after his autobiography come out. I don't know if he was manager at Sunderland at the time. I think it was. I can't remember. But he had a ban and a fine. Mate, I tell you what a joke it would be if in the last final part of the season, Wayne Rooney gets like a touchline ban with like 5 games to go or something, and either Derby don't stay up or
do you really think
they stay up and he misses out on it.
You really think this is going to the wire the way that they're playing at the minute?
Oh, no, I don't know.
15 games left. They've got like 40, 50 points to play for. I think they're going to get at least 30 points out of them. At least 10 wins.
How many games is there left? Was
15 at least.
So, yeah. Oh, mate. I can't believe that's within 2 points of Peterborough, and they're only 4 points behind Reading. That's incredible.
That's what I'm saying. So if you look at it, if they continue, they're down there for a reason because they're all crap. Derby down there because they've been deducted 21 points. So they're a good team. So they're winning, they're picking up points. You can't look at it and think, they're down there because they can't win a freaking game. But Derby down there because they've been deducted points. I think, I thought it would go down to the wire, but looking at it now, with like 15, 16 games, that's 45, 48 points to play for.
Yeah, I say Cardiff are
30 points.
Yeah, I say Cardiff are in a good position. They've got to play Derby twice, so like they could easily get sucked back in if they was to lose both those games.
And they've probably got Barnsley or Reading or Peterborough again.
I think they played Barnsley recently. Let's have a look. Should we see? Let's have a look.
When do they play Swansea again?
So you've got Millwall on Saturday. That'll be tasty. Coventry, Blackpool, Huddersfield, Fulham. There's some hard games there. QPR, Derby.
They're all hard enough.
Middlesbrough. Yeah, I was looking to see if when we play Swansea, 2nd of April.
Ooh, that's my birthday.
There we go. Birthday present, 4-0 Cardiff City. There we go. Easy life. Brendan Rodgers, mate, under pressure. I think it's fair to say. In a mad that when Solskjaer left, we were talking about Brendan Rodgers. You kind of talked me into Brendan Rodgers being a good choice for United. I know you said a couple of weeks ago that you'd kind of cooled down a little bit on that. But like, where's it all gone wrong for him? Has he got distracted by the United links?
No, we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, I think, with Leicester up there now. So they're a team that people want to beat. They're Premier League title winners, just won the FA Cup. And this is where you need a good owner. He's had a little dip. Do you sack him and panic? No, you ride it out because you've got a good manager and see how he comes out the other end. But everyone's clamming, Brendan Rodgers is in trouble. He looks like they've got a really good relationship there with the owner when you see them together after they win the FA Cup. So, no, he's going through a little bit of a dip, and some players aren't performing for him. Some players are performing, but the others aren't. So,
it'd be nice to see some clubs.
Sometimes you go through these dips and you see how they recover and see how they react. So, it'd be interesting to see how they react from it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some football clubs stick by the managers who've steered them through some positive times. Just once. Yeah,
I don't think Leicester's that type. I don't think, especially when he's like you say, he just won the FA Cup. Don't realise how big of a deal that is for a team of Leicester. Yes, they've won the Premier League, but the FA Cup's a massive, massive cup. Have they ever won it before? I didn't think they had. So. Yeah, it's still you can't say.
They might have won it like way back when Lineker.
Okay. Yeah, you can't, especially when he's a good coach. What are they, 10th, 11th, or was it 12th? 12. So, yeah, there's a long way to go, but yeah, this
doesn't help when
Leicester up there now. It seems that they've got to perform, so they're always up for it. And if Leicester not up for it, this is the problem they've got now. They've got to win games every week, and if they don't, questions get asked. That's what they want, to be a top club. That's what top clubs, what happens at top clubs. United, they don't win, it's a big nightmare. Arsenal the same. Tottenham last night. This is where they want to get to. So this is what comes with it.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't help when you've got, after they went out of the FA Cup, you have a video of their players on the piss. That doesn't help the situation because the fans find it disrespectful and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So that's not helpful to him. There you are. GD Parry says they won the FA Cup obviously last year, and then they've had runners up 1948, 1961, 1963, and 69. So they have. I think it was the first time they'd won it, if his stats are right. GD Parry also says Leicester are a mid-table team. They just had one superb season. I disagree with that as well, because they've been in the Champions League season after season for the last couple of seasons. They won the FA Cup. I think they've shown that they're more of a top four side than Arsenal are in the last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. So people still regard Arsenal as like a team to beat, a big club. So I think you have to put Leicester up there. If they're just having a tough time, doesn't mean Brendan Rodgers is no longer a good manager. I think it probably means he definitely isn't getting a United job, but I think he's still the same manager he was previously. It's just he's having and Craig says that they haven't brought anyone in.
I'll say this is where you need a good owner, and you don't panic. You've got a good coach. It's not all chocolates and roses. Sometimes you're going to go through little dips, and this is where you need to stick together. Like I said, a good owner, a good relationship, and Brendan Rodgers seems, it's a good coach. And like I say, they look like they've got a good relationship. So, yeah, I'd be astonished if they start Brendan Rodgers. Astonished.
Yeah, it'd be a weird one, I think. Will asks,
who would you bring in? Who are you going to bring in?
That's a good point. And I tell you what, the way United are with money, maybe they'll bring Rodgers in because he'll be free.
Yeah, the only person you could probably bring in, who probably bring excitement, is Wayne Rooney. But he's not going to go to Leicester. Just turn down everything.
Pochettino.
He's not going to go to Leicester. Leave PSG. You only leave PSG to go to two places: Real Madrid or Man United.
I just don't get it.
You don't need to go to Leicester. No disrespect to Leicester.
Yeah, they're not quite there yet, are they? In terms of those types of guys of clubs.
They'll never be there. They'll never be there.
Well, you never know, mate. You never know.
Clubs in the world.
Will says, should they get rid of VAR and introduce a manager challenge like in the NFL? Good question, that is.
So if you win the challenge, you keep the flag on that.
Yeah, you keep the challenge then, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, but NFL, they have someone upstairs looking at it. Will they have the time to look over that before the game? How long? It's a different kind of game. NFL, it's stop and start. When it happens in football, it keeps going and there's no stop. So who's going to look? Everyone's on a bench. There's no screens. Mind you, they do have screens these days, don't they?
But yeah, some of them do. Yeah.
Game time, innit? Can't be like waiting for like someone's fire stick or BT.
Yeah, it's like in cricket and tennis as well, like, because there's a break, isn't there, for them to do the video check, and the crowd get involved and all that. But like you say, you don't get that in football. There's not necessarily.
Why do we argue about VAR? Is there a problem in rugby league with the TMO in rugby union?
But that's because they get it right, isn't it?
So it's just the people who are dealing with it then. It's not.
Do you think they should have ex-players do it?
The problem. It's the people dealing with it, because it should be black and white. Instead, we're still getting inconsistency.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I
because it's a different opinion from a different day. Sometimes this ref might give it, but this ref won't. There's no consistency.
Rules, mate. They keep changing the rules halfway through the season as well.
Exactly.
It's ludicrous.
It's handball. Oh, that last season it would have been handball. This season it's not. It's fucking hand. It's handball.
No, mate. I just don't understand how you can change the rules halfway through the season or like into the season. It's mental. Yeah, I don't get it. Let's have a look. What else we got? Owen Jones says defensive injuries have really been Leicester's problem. Justin and Fofana would have made a massive difference to him. I like Fofana. I think he's a really good footballer, good defender. They have been unlucky, but they've also just had a January window. Like you look at some of the players that certain clubs have brought in, Everton, Newcastle, Cardiff. You look, they've potentially turned their season around by bringing in the players they needed. Leicester had the same opportunity to bring in the players they needed, and they didn't. So they've got to kind of live with that. Brendan Rodgers is involved in that decision-making process. Do we need players? Are we going to stick with what we've got? It is what it is. But, I just think they could have done with some fresh blood, maybe, just to sort of sharpen things up, freshen things up a bit.
Leicester?
Yeah.
It's difficult to get people in January. It's not a good time to bring people in.
You can't tell me, mate. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. Right, you can't tell me that Dele Alli or Van der Beek wouldn't have been good signings for Leicester. Say, just as an example.
No.
Why?
I'd rather play Tillemans. I'd rather play, especially Madison.
Tillemans.
Madison's been like really well. Van der Beek
needs games.
He needs games to get going. Dele Alli, what I've seen of him, he's finished. He's done. His attitude stinks. I don't understand what's happened to him. 3 years ago, he's a world beater. Now he's the shambles. He didn't do anything.
Do you see him roll up in his car to his first meeting at Everton? Do you see that?
Mate, it's with different. People who rock about in Rolls Royces and Bentleys. That smells to me as successful. So not,
average
footballer. You've never won a thing, but it's his money. He can do what he wants with it. Like back in if you sign for a club, you'd expect to wear your suit and tie. Instead, he looks and then but it's worth about 10 grand what he's got on. Yeah, It looks like about £10 what he's got on. But what do I know?
Yeah, I don't. He's got. If he doesn't want to go down as like a wasted talent or whatever, there's various players over the years who never quite fulfilled their ability. If he doesn't want to go down on that in that type of list, he's got to sort himself out over the next couple of years because he's done nothing for at least 2 years now. And you could blame Mourinho to a certain extent, but he's got to take personal responsibility.
These serial winners who don't want you in the side.
There's a reason.
Mourinho, Conte, come on. They don't want you in your side because you don't work. You're a lazy fucker. Plain and simple. Why else would he not be playing? Because his attitude stinks. He's not running about and training. He's not putting the work in. So that's why he's not playing. That's why he's getting splinters in his arse every week, and he's gone Everton.
On that Spurs documentary, I couldn't believe how arrogant Dele Alli was when Jose Mourinho was speaking to him. Like I couldn't believe the way he was coming across to Mourinho.
It's a different mentality, haven't they? Played in the World Cup. He's got played in the Premier League. He's a millionaire.
No. Yeah, but Mourinho at that point, the one I saw, Mourinho was just trying to help him, and he was just said, "Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say to you what I want from you. If you do it, this is what's going to happen. We're going to be successful." And exactly that, just straight over his head, just as if he would just had somewhere to be. And I
come straight into training. Hey, guess what he fucking said to me?
Exactly that.
A joke of it. Well, that's why he sat on the bench and now you're at Everton. Because Frank Lampard won't put up with it either.
That'd be interesting because I saw their first meeting, the way they saw each other for the first time or whatever, after he joined, and they seemed very, very pally. Obviously, they haven't seen each other for a long time.
Frank Lampard won't put up with it.
No, I don't think he will either.
No, but people like that, and he's a winner. He won't put up with it. People say, "Oh, he's a nice bloke," though.
He's
No.
from the
He's a
Mourinho
nice
fucking
bloke. That
coaching.
video when he's fucking having a go at Klopp and fucking shouting at everyone, calling everyone fucking Billy big time. And that
Yeah.
was
Yeah. And I think what people forget as well is like Ryan, yeah, he learned how to be a manager from Fergie. Frank Lampard learned how to be a manager from Mourinho.
Well, he's sprinkled a bit of Harry Red now.
Well, yeah, of course, there's others, but I mean, when he was doing his coaching badges, coming to the end of his career, like they're the guys who they see day in, day out.
From the greats, don't you? You obviously take, and there's no one greater.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Right, we're gonna wrap it up there, mate, because we're doing a shorter one because we're a bit later and stuff, and you've had a long day, bless you.
Oh yeah.
But are we still live on Facebook, mate? There.
Oh, I don't know.
Away? No, are you live on Facebook on your thing?
Yeah.
Away the lads. Comment at a full stop. There's Craig. Oh, you are. We'll finish on this. Craig says there have been issues with the system referee in rugby league and rugby union, similar to football, interpretation of the laws, also the TMO not always showing the right angle of the pitches and stuff like that. However, because it's on the big screen in the stadium, the fans can see it. And I think that does help because the fans are in cricket as well. Like the fans, even when they get the decisions wrong in cricket with the video stuff, the fans don't care, or they don't make a big fuss of it because they're involved in it as it's going on. So they're all having a few beers and they're all jumping around, but they're involved in that decision-making process. And I just think football needs to sort it out because otherwise, mate, quite frankly, VAR can get the fuck. I'm bored of it. I'd rather football without VAR, and we can just talk about the referees getting the decisions wrong because that's what we do anyway.
It's just ruining it. The blatant ones though, they're not like, oh, like how's he missed that? The blatant ones.
Nah, mate. I find it frustrating.
It's just annoying, but you hope they'll get it right, don't you?
Yeah, one day, mate, one day. So we got Super 6 on the weekend. Don't forget to do your predictions.
Yeah.
So I can smash you again. Got to get that lead up to 30 points, I think. Nice 30-point cushion. You can start getting the champagne.
I'm going to have to work out how you copy me, so I'll figure it out.
Mate, don't start with this now. It's all I've had off you. What are you copying my results for? If I was copying you, I wouldn't be 26 points ahead, would I?
26 points, you had a 5-week start.
Right. But I didn't score any points in those 5 weeks, did I? So that's the problem, isn't it?
You didn't score any points in 5 weeks.
I had like 2 in my first 6-7 weeks. I scored like 3 points here and there, 2 points or whatever. Like
5 threes, that's 18 points.
Nah.
5 threes, 15. So that's 15 points.
Clutching at straws now, mate. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. No. I, as always, mate, appreciate your time and appreciate you jumping on after you. Yeah. Make sure you stay awake.
No, right.
When you drive into Cardiff?
I don't know. Maybe, probably March.
There we go. We'll sort something out for then.
Probably March. When are you coming here?
I know. I gotta work it out tonight because of travel and stuff, but I am gotta try and sort it out. I think there's a half term coming up soon, so I'm thinking like the week after that, maybe try and sort something out. Maybe come up on like a Friday.
Sweet.
But I don't know yet. Right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the comments and the questions and that slightly short show, but we wanted to make sure we got one in, talk about the shit show that is footballers. We'll see you next week. I'll be back on Sunday for the fight show where we are joined by a UFC legend.
Who?
I'll tell you now.